Hey there, friends. If we're keeping score of the shiny boot on the back of our neck versus the good guys, right now the score is 1-1 if we're keeping count. First, guys, go check out my friends Attorneys on Retainer at attorneysonretainer.us. Don't trust an insurance company with your self-defense, guys. These guys are the ultimate self-defense program offered by a law firm. This is literally on the front page of their website. These guys are going to cover you whether you are charged or convicted of a criminal act, take a plea deal, use an illegal weapon or firearm, hope you're not. They provide coverage in all 50 states, have a 24/7 emergency line. 100% of your criminal and civil defense fees are covered through trial. If you go there now and sign up, you will get $50 off your one-time sign-up fee. That's $50 off the $100 sign-up fee. Go there now, use my code FTATF. Again, that's attorneysonretainer.us. You guys remember the Air Force airman who was shot and was not exhibiting any form of threat to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's deputy that happened a couple of weeks ago?
Breaking now, the deputy who shot and killed Senior Airman Roger Fortson has been terminated.
The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office revealing just an hour ago that Deputy Eddie Duran was fired following the completion of an internal investigation. The investigation determined Duran's use of deadly force was not objectively reasonable and therefore violated agency policy. This is separate from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's investigation, which will determine if Duran should be criminally charged. On May 3rd, Duran was directed to Fortson's apartment by people at the complex who reported a disturbance. Body cam video shows Duran knocked 3 times. When Fortson answered the door, he was holding a gun by his side. The sheriff's office says Duran confirmed that Senior Airman Fortson did not physically resist him, and the investigation concluded that Fortson did not point the gun at the deputy. Sheriff Eric Aiden said in a release, "This tragic incident should have never occurred. The objective facts do not support the use of deadly force as an appropriate response to Mr. Fortson's actions. Mr. Fortson did not commit any crime. By all accounts, he was an exceptional airman and individual."
You guys will remember that we broke this thing down in pretty good detail, but they also included some good bullet points in this report as far as reasons and justification for terminating this deputy. They state that the deputy was dispatched to an in-progress physical disturbance at an apartment complex located at, and they gave the address. Dispatch records confirmed the location of the disturbance was reported to be taking place in Unit 1401. On arrival, the deputy met with an employee of the apartment complex who identified Unit 1401 as the location of the disturbance and relayed to the former deputy that there had been recent unreported disturbances at or around the same apartment. The former deputy interaction with the apartment complex's employee and all former actions were recorded on his body-worn camera, unlike the ATF. Upon arriving at the door to Unit 1401, the former deputy listened for sounds of any disturbance inside the apartment. Hearing none, the former deputy knocked without announcing and listened for a response. When describing what he heard, the former deputy said he heard, quote, something to the effect of, "It's the effing police." The former deputy knocked loudly 2 more times and announced sheriff's office both of those times. The administrative investigation found that the former deputy knocked 3 times and announced his presence 2 times within approximately 40 seconds. When Mr. Fortson opened the door, the former deputy stated he saw Mr. Fortson holding a firearm in his right hand. The firearm was pointed at the ground sufficiently enough for the former deputy to clearly see the rear face of the rear sight. Apparently this was in the deputy's testimony because this is not being disputed. The former deputy confirmed Mr. Fortson did not physically resist him in any way, and the investigation concluded that Mr. Fortson did not point the gun in the former deputy's direction. And we saw that on the film. It was clearly no form of aggression towards the deputy from Mr. Fortson. So from a department who's having a little bit of an issue from a training standpoint, remember these are the guys, the same department that had the acorn fall on the roof and then the guy unloaded a couple of magazines and so did his partner into a car where somebody was literally handcuffed in the back of the car. And then this happened. Obviously there's a training issue. Obviously, if you want to break down training issues, and we can Monday morning quarterback here all day long. Some of you guys in law enforcement got mad at me last time when I talked about this, but let's face it, there are no superpowers to law enforcement personnel, right? They're just normal people that have a different type of job than everybody else. You hear people say it takes a special person to do that. It takes a special person to deliver a baby. It takes a special person to climb a utility pole and hook up electricity. Okay? It takes a lot of special people to do a lot of special things. So let's not throw that hero status around too loosely here, because I think it's used watered down a whole lot. My point is, I think we have an issue of deputies with Okaloosa County who may have good training in other areas. Clearly, they're scared to death. Like, I don't know what the type of area is. I've had some people comment saying that this is a higher end area. This is not like the ghetto. I've shown that the crime rate in this area is not a high crime rate area. In fact, I think it gets a B plus as far as crime in that area. So it's not known to be an overly dangerous county. So I don't understand the hair-triggeredness of the deputies and the fear that something bad is going to happen to them, and their first response is just to shoot it, right? I mean, don't you find it kind of odd that the two of the higher profile instances that have happened where it should not have happened in the whole country happened literally in the same county, and the first reaction, the go-to for both of these guys, three if you want to count the girl and the acorn pop, is to unholster their weapon and shoot at where they think the threat is. Granted, with Mr. Fortson right here, I guess it's a little bit more of a threat than Acorn Boy, because at least there was a gun involved where the other guy was handcuffed in the back of a cruiser and no danger whatsoever. But this kid wasn't a danger to anybody. And this man's first reaction to a guy with a gun down on his side was shoot him and kill him. So I don't understand the fearfulness of this agency. I don't know if it's just maybe this is the two guys out there that were the bad apples in that group and improperly trained, joined an organization. And this is quite possible, guys, that since it is a low crime county, it's very possible these guys joined the sheriff's department thinking this was going to be a cake job in an area with very low crime. And the first little hint of any kind of perceived danger on their part is to shoot and kill, right? So I guess what I'm saying is they didn't, quote, sign up for this. They didn't, quote, sign up for any kind of real legitimate danger. And the first chance they get at some kind of stressful situation, a little bit of anxiety involved, unholster my weapon and shoot at it, you know? So maybe these guys are the bad apples. Maybe these guys are the weaker ones that just happen to apply here thinking that they would never have to unholster their weapon. You know, they never thought they would be in a situation where they would need their weapon. So therefore, the slightest little bit of heightened anxiety, their first thought is, I'm going to shoot this guy. The reason why I said the shiny leather boot won, good guys won also, this is the one for the good guys. I think finally we have a law enforcement agency, and this may be a way for them to save face. This may be a way for the lawsuit to pay out a little less money, maybe. Who knows? Maybe more, because they admitted wrongdoing with one of their deputies. The one for the shiny boots is still the ATF Brian Malinowski. I don't think we'll ever hear anything more from that. Those guys are getting away with it. These guys in Okaloosa County seem like they're not going to get away with this. I do believe that you've got a situation where there's going to be a lot of money paid out. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department, this will never go to court. They'll write a big check. Remember, they got the race baiting Ben Crump to come in there, which they didn't need him. They could have probably gotten a better lawyer and not had to throw race into this. That's what Ben Crump is known for, just race baiting. He's kind of like an Al Sharpton with an actual degree. So this guy doesn't need to be here, but nevertheless, the county will write a nice check to this family. This family will likely turn around and try to file charges against the fired deputy, the former deputy as well. I kind of wonder at what point if that's even necessary. In other words, if you're going after the deputy for criminal charges, kind of what's the point? You know what I mean? I think the point here is they're getting justice. They wanted justice. They got it. Unlike with the Michael Brown, where people did not agree with justice that was done because Michael Brown was rightfully shot, and then they burned the city to the ground because they didn't like the judgment. Oh, wait a minute. Side note, didn't Biden just say that if people are questioning the judgment of our great court system and you disagree with it, that's dangerous?
That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years. And it literally is the cornerstone of America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down. It's as simple as that. That's America. That's who we are. And that's who we'll always be, God willing.
We're sure not hearing anything about the people that burnt St. Louis to the ground or Ferguson, Missouri to the ground whenever they disagreed with a decision that was 100% right. But I digress. This young man should not have been shot in his own apartment. I don't care what anybody else says. This is my opinion, and I do respect your opinion. But if you feel like this young man was threatening this officer in any kind of way, I will tell you that I do think your opinion is wrong. I know it's your opinion, and you are certainly entitled to that, and I respect your opinion. I think your opinion is wrong if you felt like this officer was justified in shooting this young man. There's no reason for this officer to have unholstered his weapon and to have shot this boy. And he shot him in his own apartment. And I will go down in a ball of flames saying that that's not right. Now, for all the racists who follow my channel, I'm talking about the people who hate white people. I'm constantly being called a racist simply because the percentages are higher in black people committing all of these shootings and murders, right? It's a fact. It's not just me stating this. It ain't my opinion. If we're going to be talking about opinions, this ain't my opinion. It is a statistical fact that in these neighborhoods and in these high crime areas, it's mostly the black community shooting at each other. Well, that makes some people mad. And when they watch my video, they get upset and they say, how come you're not taking up for the black people who were wrongfully shot? There's not a lot of them, okay? At least there's not a lot of them that get any airplay. If there are, I take the correct side. I don't care what color their skin is. You guys who call me a racist, you care about skin color. In fact, I think that's all you care about. But I'm telling you that if you ignore this video, where I've been very adamant that this young man should not have been shot, then you are choosing to ignore facts, you are choosing to ignore my fairness and my moral compass, and you are doing that on your own so that you can still feel righteous about calling me a racist. That's incorrect, and it's not going to fly here.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's